Optimal living, living optimally.
Welcome to Optimal Living Starts Here, where we support active duty military, veterans, and their family members with living more healthy, happy lives. I am Versandra Kennebrew, your host, and I am super excited today to bring you two special guests. And these special guests are physicians of their own way or own area. I'm not really sure the best way to describe this, but two different types of physicians. The first one, to my left, I'm going to introduce to you, but I want to let you know that before the end of this show, we're going to share a special event that's coming up, and we want you to come out and join us. Just put a pin in it. It's called Mindful Wellness Day on June 15th. And it's going to be a phenomenal experience, kind of interactive, educational. You'll get a chance to meet not only these doctors, but you'll meet some other individuals that are doing great things in our community. And you will be able to interact, maybe even enjoy some yoga. So, our special guest to my left is Dr. Kimberly Jackson. Let me tell you just a few things that I've learned about her as I just met her maybe about a week ago. I have done a little research. I've been all through her social media and everything, and I'll tell you, she is a trailblazer. This young lady is she has started various organizations that brings physicians together, and she's also an author. So after she gets off of her 9 to 5, if you will, she has other activities that she does besides being a mom, and they're all designed to make you live a more healthy, happy life. Welcome, Dr. Jackson.
Thank you so much. And so you've inspired me. No, just wait.
Yes, I'm inspired. I actually listened to a podcast just the other day that you were on, and you were talking about your new book.
Yes.
And the gentleman that was interviewing you, he said that you had been on the show a couple of times, and he was talking about, I think it was the Physician's Day or something of that sort.
Yes, you did your research.
Yes. So please tell our audience a little bit more about who you are and these specific activities that you're doing outside of your medical practice.
Absolutely, and thank you, Ms. Kennebrew, for having me. I'm so delighted and honored to be here, and thank you all for listening in. As she said, I am Dr. Kimberly Jackson. I'm a family medicine physician. I have a private practice here in Phoenix City, Alabama, and I'm licensed in Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. The organization she's referencing is my nonprofit Physicians Working Together, where we basically engage the community with physicians. We support future physicians with a medical student scholarship. We do healthcare town halls. We also started National Physicians Week, which took Doctor's Day from March 30th to the entire week, the 25th through the 31st. And we're just delighted to be able to do things like that to educate our community, to support you all, and to help you be as healthy as possible. We're starting with Mindful Wellness Day that she referenced on June 15th. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is going to be at the Place to Be on 2003 Crawford Road. She'll probably have that on her site for you to reference. But I just love the fact that I can go outside of those, clinical box walls where they put us in and they have us, thinking we're stuffy and we're just all about medicine and writing pills. This is an opportunity to educate the community as physicians that we work together. We try to make sure we're working together with you and your family and our legislators, our community, just to be as healthy as possible. And this goes beyond just medication. It is about mindfulness. Our motto for our clinic for JPL, which is Jackson Family Medicine, Jackson Point of Life Family Medicine, is live life well. So living it well emotionally, financially, physically, spiritually, mentally, because you need all of those things to be healthy. And we incorporate that by not only talking about it, we be about it as well. So like she mentioned, yoga is something that I do regularly, walking and being healthy. And I just align myself with other physicians to make sure that we are putting our best foot forward to educate the community and be there for you, so you all know that we care about you and we want you to be as healthy as possible, because health without health, your wealth is basically it's not going to do you any good. You know, what does it profit man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? What does it profit you to gain those things but not be able to enjoy them and not to be able to be healthy? And you have to incorporate mindfulness with your physical wellness to be healthy.
Absolutely. I tell you, you have said a mouthful there. And yes, some people do assume that all doctors are stuffy and they don't really care that much. They give you your maybe 7 minutes when you're in the office. They don't even really read your chart. I mean, they come in and they, after somebody's asked you 100 questions, they come in and ask you the same exact questions and you're like saying, oh well, am I just a number or what? But you are breaking it down that every doctor is not alike and that some are expanding their awareness into other fields of wellness that support, I would say, that are integrated into the medical field. So you have the, not even traditional, I don't want to call it traditional because traditional is way back thousands of years ago when we didn't even have medications. So that would be more traditional, but I guess it would be allopathic is the best way of describing it. And then now with the homeopathic and the naturopathic and the holistic, there's so many various ways of looking at health and wellness, but they get it done. They all get it done.
Exactly.
So you have a guest that you have invited to join you who will also be at the event on Saturday, and she will be sharing some of her expertise about pain management. Would you like to introduce your guest to our audience?
Absolutely. Wonderful young lady. We also met recently. She has a passion for medicine and for our community. She's an interventional pain medicine specialist. I'll let her do more of the introduction for herself and of the opportunities and things that she's involved in, but I'm so glad to have her here, Dr. Bostanovsky.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Jackson, and thank you for having us here. I am really, truly honored to be invited to this event, which Dr. Jackson is truly trailblazing in this community, expanding the awareness about mindfulness, about wellness, and about the connection between our minds and our bodies, which is very close to what I do every day in my pain management practice at River City Sports and Spine. The close link between our physical well-being from the perspective that Dr. Jackson treats every day in her family medicine practice, as well as what I see every day in my pain management practice, is essentially our mind and body is the same. It's part of us. We are all one creatures, and our mind is part of our body, and how we feel emotionally and mentally comes out in physical ways. Whether that's blood pressure, diabetes, and the kinds of problems that Dr. Jackson treats, or whether that's back pain, neck pain, joint pain, or just pain that's more than what I would expect from what I see on imaging, is due to our emotional and mental well-being. So that connection is intimate, is direct, and it's often unconscious. We're often unaware of how our emotional well-being affects our physical well-being. And that's what we're going to try to educate the participants of the event, how important our emotional well-being is to our physical well-being, and how that connection can be easily missed in the busyness of our lives, in the scientific way that we're trained as physicians, but really all of us, we like to see things, how they're connected, but the emotional aspect of our well-being is invisible. So it's hard to often understand how important it is. And yes, we as physicians are very busy, and we often do focus on the life-threatening things and how to save lives. But we are realizing that, as well as legislators and the entire medical community, we're realizing that prevention starts with wellness. Which is why I'm really so excited that Dr. Jackson has organized this event, and she's leading many other things in this community for us as physicians. She's also a trailblazer in promoting physician wellness, because we're also suffering from the same problems as our patients do. We don't take care of ourselves, and and she's a voice for all of us. So I'm really honored to be invited to this event.
This is so awesome. I'm glad we have everybody on the same page here, because we know on this show it is really all about mind, body, and spirit working in symphony, because we have got to have the music happening between the mind, body, and the spirit. I would like to bring up just a little bit about an article that I read earlier this week, and it was speaking to the state of health in the Columbus, Georgia area. And I wanted to have the actual numbers, because I didn't want to just throw something out there and then you do some fact check, then you find out, wait a minute, she told me the wrong thing. But here is the exact numbers. In a research conducted by Wallet Hub, Columbus ranks all the way down at 179 out of 182 cities when it comes to health. Now that's a fact that I just became aware of, and I didn't have to read this to know this, because I'm actually from Detroit, Michigan, a city when I became a massage therapist 24 years ago was named the fattest city in America. And that was a big deal as I was coming into the whole wellness arena, and I wanted to know, how can we do something about those numbers and flip them? And during the time that I lived in Detroit, those numbers, I would say in about 5 years, changed so much so that they became number 3 instead of at the very bottom. So I would like to ask to both of the physicians here, how do you feel your practice is helping the residents of Columbus, or even of the Chattahoochee Valley, because we do spread out a little bit? How does your practice actually help to flip those numbers and make them such that maybe we'll jump from 179 to maybe 140? You know, we'll start with you, Dr. Jackson.
Absolutely, and what an excellent question, and I'm so glad you bring this up, because it's so many facets to this, right? First and foremost, people have to realize that they need to be seen by a doctor. They need to take care of their body. A lot of times they think because they feel well, or they don't have a family history of certain things, that they don't have any issues. But I tell my patients, just like you have to go get the oil change or your tires rotated, different things on your car that you have to get done that you may not see anything wrong, and you definitely don't want to wait till anything's wrong, you have to do that with your body as well. So the first thing I remind them is they need to have someone like myself in their corner, family medicine physician, where they're going to them, they're talking about their family history, they're talking about their problems, they're talking about their concerns, and even beyond that, we also deal with prevention. So we're dealing with cancer screening, we're dealing with problems that maybe family members had that they're not aware that they have by doing blood work and things like that. So we talk to them, we get them in, we evaluate their risk factors, and then that way we can start addressing their chronic issues as well as doing preventative issues. And then we throw in those acute things as well. And then we do events like what we're doing with the Mindful Wellness Day, right? We go out into the community, we educate them, we meet them where they are. I tell people it's hard to tell someone, hey, you need to go eat a whole bunch of fresh organic food and things like that, and they're barely making it. They can't, they go from month to month to paycheck. So you have to meet them where they are and get what other resources so they can tell them what's available in their community. I'm excited with this program that we're bringing up, that we have, of course, Ms. Kinnebrew that's going to come in and talk about representing the art of yoga. We're going to have a nutritionist. We're going to have the health department. A lot of people aren't aware of the resources that are there that can help them. So when we talk about making and correcting and helping these lives so these statistics can get better, we have to meet people where they are. We have to recommend that they see a primary care physician. We have to also have programs so they can be educated and to do things better. And it's a lot of things I mentioned that boil down to like the 3 M's that we'll talk about at the program as well. They have to have movement. You got to be active. You got to get out. You got to move around. You have to monitor your meals, what things you're eating, because your body is a representation of the things that you're doing as well as your habits. There's a saying I was told that genetics loads the gun, but your habits pull the trigger. So you have to be aware that even though you may have something you're predisposed to, you can make a difference in that, right? And then the mood and the mind, you have to think positive. You have to be positive. You have to realize that our people perish because of lack of knowledge. So get that knowledge out of there, help them be positive, help them get the primary care physician so we can address these chronic issues and do these preventions, and then just meeting them where they are, whether it's the food that they're eating, the activity they're doing, their mindset, and trying to help them be healthier and better through all the ways that they can to be as healthy as possible.
That's good information, and I'm really excited because as you were speaking, I was thinking all I could see was the circle of life. You know, I'm an integrative nutrition health coach, and the first thing we do in our assessments, we have our individuals coming in to receive coaching. They look at this circle that represents all of the areas of your life. I mean, if I were to break it down into a quadrant, it would be your career, your relationships, your physical activity, and your spirituality. But there's other little slices of the pie that would represent other parts. But what that does is helps them to understand that their health is not just physical. That if you're at a job that you hate, you get up every morning dreading to go to work, and you're running around like a crazy person, and then when you get there, you're like, oh my God, you end up having to take days off because of your stress level and all those various things that comes with hating your career, then that can definitely impact your health and well-being. And so, you know, even down to spirituality, you know, we know that we are here in Columbus, Georgia, Phoenix City. They would call this a part of the Bible Belt. But we have some things that are said in churches, if you will, that may not be pro-health. There are things that are done that might not be pro-health, such as the fried chicken after service on Sunday. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. I'm just a young lady who's been through life, and I've been in churches, and I've had to do something about it myself because I had to deny eating that food because I learned better, and so therefore I wanted to do better. And then there's some other things, you know, somebody will tell you, oh, as long as you bless it and pray for it, it's gonna be all good. But you have to be aware that there are some things that you put in your mouth they're food-like substances, if you will. They're not food. So what do you want to do? Walk around eating cardboard and saying, oh, just because it went down, it's good? Well, your digestive tract's going to be all backed up. We're not going to get to how deep that gets, but this is really what's happening. Now, I know you have some things you want to add to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really glad that Dr. Jackson kind of started this conversation, because what she described is the foundations for our physical health.
Yes.
And I see in my practice how patients who are not healthy, who don't have these screenings, who don't have their blood pressure checked, they have more pain, they have more arthritis, and their pain is worse, more debilitating, leads to more disability. I see this every day. So it is important, like I love the analogy and the description you provided, the cycle of life, how everything is a cycle. Having the nutrition, the mental well-being, the emotional aspect, the foundations for our physical well-being, those screenings, checks. In me as a subspecialist, I see almost the downstream effects when some of that or all of it is lacking. When people have uncontrolled diabetes and hypertension, when they are not feeling well, when they eat that unhealthy food that doesn't provide nutrition and good building blocks, healthy building blocks to think well, to feel well, to be fit and active in life. When that's missing, those patients come to us and they're in a lot of pain, and then it sets up for a more vicious cycle, because now they're in a lot of pain, they can't work out, they can't exercise, they can't get their diabetes in better control, hypertension, and it becomes very hard for me to really, really make a difference. I can educate patients, but we need everybody to be part of that to really help that set up that healthy life cycle and get us up to that higher, better ranking.
Yes,
as a community.
absolutely.
But it does take all of that to be in place.
You're so right, and that's why I feel the education part is so valuable. You know, when you go into a doctor's visit, you're generally going for a specific thing. You know, you either had a follow-up appointment from something else that was a chronic issue, and you're wanting to maintain, the how those levels are looking. So you want to check in and see if there's any changes where you might have to adjust the medication or something like that. Or you had an acute situation. I mean, you just fell down, you broke your leg, you broke your arm. You have to get something done right away. But in the meantime, they're on YouTube, if you will. I just take that one out of the box because we have so many resources at our fingertips. And this show is really about empowering you to live your best life. So that means, yes, you have to be a part of this process. So you need to do your due diligence, and you might want to watch a video, or they got documentaries that are out there that are telling you about how your brain affects your digestion, you know, how the two go together. They have so much information out there about your heart and how your emotions and everything affect your heart. And some people are literally slowly dying from a broken heart that they didn't recognize, that if they spent some me time, I like to call it me time, quality me time with themselves and learning to love themselves and really care for themselves, engage in self-care, then maybe they could let go of some of the things that they're holding on to that's breaking their heart. So I like to bring up just practical things like that, because we don't want you to think that it's all about the doctor. The doctor is going to do a diagnosis, prognosis. They're going to give you some basic things, but as a human being that is walking around in this suit here called an earth suit, you owe it to yourself to take care of yourself. Now I want to get into some of the other physicians that are going to be on that panel, because I recognize, I was looking at the video. I mean, if you just go to our Facebook page, you'll be able to see the videos that I'm talking about, because I've been sharing them all over Optimal Living Starts Here. But if you go to Optimal Living Starts Here on Facebook, on Instagram, you'll be able to see these videos that I'm talking about, and it's got the cool music in the background, but the doctors that are going to be present are there. So tell us more about these other physicians.
Yes, awesome. And we reached out to them, but as many of you know, doctors' lives are really busy. So they wanted to be here. We're not able to be, but they will be at the event, the Mindful Wellness Day event on June 15th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And we'll have a section there with the physician panelists where you can ask us questions directly. So I'm family medicine, but we'll also have Dr. Bundy Virgil, who is a pediatrician. We'll have Dr. Sarag Abdullah, who is a sports medicine physician. We have Dr. Wesley Chambers, who's an OBGYN. So you're going to have a wide variety of specialties there that are going to be represented and be able to answer questions for you. And we'll also be talking about holistic health. And so that's why I'm so excited that I'm here on the show with Miss Gabrielle, for to give her a doctor, to talk about this, because we need all of these aspects of healthcare, and it's a way to show the community that we work together. Some people feel like, since I'm a doctor, that I'm not going to understand, say, using herbal remedies or therapies or other stuff. But no, I was sharing with one of my colleagues recently that my dad would get like moss from a tree, and my mother would get clay from the river, or we would use different therapies and stuff to work. So those things can work together. We want you, of course, to discuss it with your doctor, because if you are on prescription meds, those meds can interact. But I tell people, I want you to visit the farmer before you visit the pharmacy. So my thing is, you want people to have that healthy lifestyle. You want them to be able to incorporate the mindfulness, the getting rest, the drinking water, the being active, surrounding yourself with positive things. You know, as a man thinketh, so he is. So it's one of those things where I'm so excited we have these other physicians that are going to take some time out of their Saturday, as well as we'll have other persons that are going to be involved. We have an influencer and a coach, Coach Carter, big coach, that's going to be there with us. We're going to have a nutritionist, like I said, from the Department of Health. Yourself, we're going to have there as well. And then there'll be other people that will be stopping by, providing goodies. We're going to have the food meal. Yes, that's gonna do a nutritionist food preparation. You get a chance to try that. I mean, I'm excited about this event. So tell your friends, come out yourself, tell your family. And this is just such an awesome opportunity for you to come out. It is family friendly. I will be there also with my book. Yes, as you mentioned, The Sun is Rising. So if you want to purchase and get an autographed copy of that, you can do it as well. So we're just super excited about this opportunity to have the local physicians come out, educate, be available, and then we'll have other experts and other persons available at the lovely place to be. And it's going to be a great time. That's why I'm excited.
Yes. In my mind, I've got so many things that I want to ask about, but I do want to ask as it relates to pain and pain management. I know several people who are suffering with autoimmune disorders that are causing their bodies to be just really wrecked with pain. And often, like you stated, you're in so much pain that you can't really get out there and exercise because you're hurting. You know? What are some of the things that you would recommend, say for a person dealing with fibromyalgia and just a touch, it hurts? What would you recommend to that person?
That's such a wonderful question and such a difficult one to answer, because fibromyalgia in particular is such a complex disease that we don't even understand very well at the foundations. But it's also a very good example where the holistic approach, the whole body-mind approach becomes so critical. And without addressing all of those, without addressing the mind, the emotions, the depression, the healthy eating, the exercise, me as a physician, I'm unable to really take care of this patient fully. This is where I become a coach and an educator, and it's truly in the hands of the patient, like you mentioned earlier, to make the decisions and in order to get better. Medications are just really one part of, and procedures are just really one part of a person's well-being and what we do in medicine. The other is really, what we do is really the tip of the iceberg. All the other things we mention here is where the things really happen.
Right. I've learned that, we are dealing with in the United States we got several epidemics going on at the same time. I was so frustrated during the global pandemic because people put so much emphasis on the pandemic and then they forgot about diabetes. I'm like, diabetes was in those high numbers way before there was a COVID. Diabetes was killing people and it continues to kill people
now.
And I'm like, why are they putting that big ticker up there and making you look at all of these people dying from a virus, but they're not talking about diabetes? But the other epidemic that I was thinking of is just chronic inflammation. I mean, the inflamed, everything. I'm talking from your skin to your organs and everything, and that is causing so much pain and discomfort to people and affecting their digestion again. And it seems like everything seems to be happening around this midsection. And it's like, okay, if we can just work on here, I just feel like there's so much that can be done if we do just come inside and focus on this midsection. I look at people and I see the outside appearance, and I'm not being judgmental. This is just something I'm very observant. I look at people that, they might spend hundreds of dollars, they have beautiful nails and makeup and everything, but you can tell that it's hard for them to walk and move. And so really, when you're thinking about your health and well-being, you have to prioritize. You have to determine, where do I want to make my investment as it relates to myself? Do I want to invest in my physical body and how it's functioning as opposed to the external part, what everybody else sees? And, when I was going through some depression some time back, and, I'm very familiar with some of the causes, and this is why I personally got into integrative nutrition, is because I was working on my own problems. I wanted to fix what was going on inside of Versandra. And I recognized that when you're dealing with depression, then first of all, you just don't even see things properly. Things are distorted, you know. And so you might look in the mirror one day and see one thing and come back the next day and you look, it's the same person, but you see things differently because your brain is not even showing what it is that's really happening. So I dealt with the whole depression situation. I found holistic health and wellness. I found yoga. I found meditation. Walking on this beautiful river walk that we have here that separates Columbus and Phoenix City. That is beautiful. I moved here like 5 years ago. And when I got here, the first thing I saw is this is where I'm going to be spending my time. I'll take my yoga mat and I'll put it out there on the grass. I'll do some meditation and just listen to the water. And I mean, those are the things that bring me peace in the midst of the storm, you know. Right. And I want to give you ladies an opportunity to share, you know, if you have some things beyond this event, maybe at your practice that's going on that you would like our viewers to know more about, please share that with them. And we're going to make sure at the bottom of the screen that we put your contact information, your website, your name. But if there's any activities that you have going on, maybe share with our listening and viewing audience what those things are so that we can get them engaged.
Awesome. Thank you for that opportunity. Absolutely. You said so many wonderful things. I'm Dr. Jackson. I am the co-owner as well as the medical director and lead physician at Jackson's Point of Light Family Medicine. So we're always open for families. We take care. I have patients that bring in their kids and then they think we only see kids, and then folks that bring in adults and think we only see adults, and we see families. Right. So we're on Stadium Drive, 1810 Stadium Drive, Suite 210. So we're always open and available if you're looking for a primary care home to come in there. And then as far as physicians working together, we're celebrating our 9th anniversary. We're doing this mindful wellness event, like you mentioned, on June 15th. And then we'll also be doing some things with my other organization, Inspire and Empower, which was started to inspire and empower everyone to live their best lives. And with that book, Sun is Rising, we'll have a book signing on June 15th. We're also looking for a book signing in Jacksonville, Florida at some point this summer, and then we're going to be doing another one in Columbus in August. We'll have the date set, and I'll get that information to you.
Yes, and you did the launch in Mississippi, right?
Yes.
Your hometown.
Yes.
See,
yes,
I did my research.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, your best friend was the person who was assisting you with
correct.
it.
Shout out to Lakila.
Yes.
Yes, that was actually my best friend since 5th grade. So
wow.
we go way back, and just so talking about those things that we're mentioning, you know, having a relationship with people and reaching out to people and just, you know, taking time for yourself, like you say, with depression and things like that. All of us are going through something, and that's one of the reasons I have physicians working together, because with physicians, a lot of people aren't aware of burnout and physician suicide and physician closing practices, and we have to have these healers and folks that are available to be able to help you be well and keep your family well. So that's the heart of my mission, is just basically to empower and to inspire and to educate my patients, our communities, other physicians, and work with other groups so we can basically help us all be as healthy as possible, because that is basically the best gift we can give ourselves in this wonderful, amazing world, so we can enjoy it and so we can live our lives to the fullest.
Yes, yes. And what do you have going on at your practice?
Sure. So again, I'm Dr. Buzanowska. I'm at River City Sports and Spine Specialist on 2313th Street. So one of the things that we do very frequently is we do live webinars where we educate patients on the things that we offer. So we offer a variety of interventional pain procedures, as well as regenerative medicine, as well as holistic topics such as this, how emotional pain, how mind is directly informing your body how to feel, and how a lot of our emotional stresses and just regular stresses in life, we don't realize how that affects our physical well-being and pain, and oftentimes a lot of treatments and medications may be unnecessary once we realize that connection and know how to address it. So we have webinars almost every other week. We have some kind of webinar where we inform patients about what they can do for themselves and to help themselves with their pain.
Okay. And it sounds, as I'm hearing you, it sounds like you have a chiropractor there too. Do you?
We do
You
not
do
have
not
a
do chiropractic care. Okay. Every time I think about spine, I'm like, okay, there's got to be a chiropractor somewhere, because I've had some experiences, great experiences with chiropractic adjustments, and it's just mainly because sometimes you might have a fall or a jerk or something in your body, and things will just kind of get off. And it's like, okay, if you can just manipulate and get it back in place, it's like everything goes away. And I love that about the chiropractic practice. I'm like, I'm trying to get everything out as it's going through in my mind. I'm just, oh my
We very much support a multidisciplinary approach
Yes.
in the treatment of pain, and we even host multidisciplinary spine runs where we invite other specialists to talk
Yes.
about their approaches and how we can empower and treat patients better in that holistic, multidisciplinary way.
Right.
So yes, absolutely, chiropractors, physical therapists, pain psychologists, and all these different specialists become crucial in us being able to help patients in pain.
Yes, yes. All right, audience, you have heard it not just from these physicians, you've learned about others that will be joining us on Saturday the 15th. You should already have a pen in it. You should have already put it on your Google Calendar or whichever calendar you're using. And you should take the information at the bottom of the screen and share it with a friend. It is nothing like bringing friends and loved ones with you to such an event that could be beneficial for them all. So please do that, and we want to thank you so much for tuning in to Optimal Living Starts Here. We're excited about what you guys are telling us as we're out and about in the community. You stop me and say, wait a minute. This one lady, she says, oh, I'm sorry, you're looking at my food. I know you're judging my food. I'm like, no, I'm not. This is a judge-free location here. But I appreciate you even acknowledging that you know me and that you have seen this show. This is why I wanted to bring these young ladies here, so that they can give to you. Even if you can't make it, you can get their contact information. You can reach out to them, and you now have a resource in your pocket that you can use to help you on your journey to health and well-being. For now, this is it, and we're excited about seeing you out there in the Chattahoochee Valley living your best life.
Optimal living, living optimally.